Hey guys, welcome back to Outside the Box with Lala. How are you guys doing? You guys been asking for part 2. Here it is. We are on part 2 of Mental Health Awareness Zoom. I have put down some website that will help some people to seek the help and get it. Also make sure that you like, share, comment, subscribe to my videos. And also on upcoming videos, I am so grateful for all my guest speakers. Thank you guys so much for sharing your stories and the obstacles and how you guys achieve and still healing from this big issue that we all suffer with. I myself also share my stories, so you guys look out for that as well. Mental health is such a major issue, not just in this country, but all countries all over. This is the time that we stand up. This is the time that we start healing. This is the time that we speak out about mental health. Mental health is not just one category. It's multiple, as you guys can see. Please make sure you like, comment, share. I would love to hear more stories. And this is just the beginning, guys. This is just the beginning. We have so much to conquer on this topic. Thank you for watching Outside the Box with Lala. Please again make sure to share my videos, and if you want more videos like this, please also put in the comment below and let us know. All guest speakers information is on there. Please contact them, please talk to them, please reach out to them. They're phenomenal, not just guest speakers, but also they're a good advisor as well to go to. Thank you.
Success. A lot of times we don't even realize the fact that we got mental health problems until we end up in a relationship with somebody else. You know what I mean? And then through that person, we start to see, oh, well, I got some stuff that I got to work on. You know what I mean? Because before I thought I was cool, you know? But yeah, I even have a therapist myself just to process my thoughts and have somebody to talk to, because when you're in a position where, you know, you're speaking and you're an entrepreneur and you're the type of person that's a leader, a lot of times you struggle with expressing yourself and, talking to other people about how you feel, because a lot of times you're that person for other people. And so, even I have, a therapist myself, and, that would be the three who don't have that support. And what was the other question?
Are there cures for mental health problems?
Are there cures for mental health? I would say there is I look at it like, we had this conversation. I really feel like mental and spiritual really go hand in hand. You know what I mean? And so if you look at the Bible, like one of my favorite stories is about it. Jesus was talking about the guy who a spirit had left him, right? A demon had left him, and it went roaming around looking for a place to go. And when it couldn't find anywhere to go, it went back to the original person and saw that it was deserted and came back into him with 7 demons stronger than himself. Yes. And that's how I look at mental health. If you're not constantly working, if you're not constantly reflecting, if you're not constantly acknowledging just who you are and how you feel, then there's no cure for mental health, because you're going to be okay for a temporary amount of time. And because you're not doing the work, something else is going to come about. Some other situation is going to happen. You're going to come across something that's going to allow that mental health problem to come back 7 times stronger than itself. And so I feel like the cure for mental health is just continuously going to work. You know what I mean? Just like in regards to our walk with God, just how it goes in regards to our money, just how it goes with our relationships, you have to continuously put in the work. And no, that doesn't mean that you're going to be 100% cured. It doesn't mean that you'll never have to face any problems or struggles. Of course, we're always going to be coming across different situations. There's always going to be new hurt. But when you are constantly reflecting and constantly doing the work, you have the tools and the knowledge and the skills that you need to first and foremost acknowledge it and then take the necessary steps to heal from it. And it's a continuous process. And that's how I got my name from my magazine, Hurt, Heal, Grow, because it's like we're in a constant cycle of hurting, healing, and growing. There's always going to be new hurt. We got to heal from it. We got to grow from it and be prepared for when that next dip comes, that next situation comes. And then
No, Crystal's writing it down, but
I see him in the chat. So are there cures for mental? Did I already answer that?
yeah. So the next one is what caused mental health problems? I think you kind of went into it, but you can elaborate more.
So once again, going back to the spiritual, side of things, like we were all born into sin, you know what I mean? And so when we look at it that way, we're all born into trauma. Like we're all born into some level of trauma. Even if you're born into the most, you can be born into a rich family, you know what I mean, with all the money in the world. Even that type of lifestyle can cause trauma, you know what I mean? And so I view trauma as any situation, whether positive or negative, that can have a negative effect on who you are. And when you think about that, anything can be trauma. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I don't think that it's possible for us to avoid trauma. I don't think that it's possible. We're going to come across some situation that's going to cause some level of trauma. And it's just a matter of, are we equipped to handle it? And a lot of times we're not. The world just doesn't prepare us for that. It doesn't want us to be prepared for that. And it wants us to be in this continual cycle of trauma. You know what I mean? And what's the last question?
This one is, what do we do if we're worried about our mental health?
If you are worried about your mental health, I will always say figure out what the root is. It's funny because I always had this in my mind. Mike Todd, I remember one time I was watching one of his videos, he was like, there's always a root. That's what I always think of. Like, there's always a root, like always. And so you really have to go back to identify what the root is. And it's the most uncomfortable thing you can ever do, is have to go back and revisit your past and the trauma that you've been through and the things that hurt you the most. But it's necessary. It's necessary, and it's impossible for us to move forward without going back to acknowledge, what it is that we've been through and the effects that it's had on us. A lot of us, we've been taught to be resilient. You know what I mean? Our community, the Black community, is just resilient as a whole. We've been taught to push forward and just keep going no matter what, since the beginning of time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Sure. I was going to ask, I'm so sorry. You had so much, it's good. Why is it that it's so hard for us to go back? Because a lot of people don't like to go back. And a lot of times we have to numb our problems instead of going back. Can you, I gotta talk about it.
I be trying not to get deep, but it's like, if you think about it, right? And it's funny because we really don't like to focus on the spiritual side. It's hard for us to focus on the spiritual side because we don't see it, right? Yeah. But if we're born into sin, right, we have these different traumas, right? And we have these demons and these spirits that we've got through soul ties and trauma that we got through our parents, you know what I mean? Because of their iniquities, like, if we already have those things inside of us, those things and those experiences in the world itself does not want us to move forward. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a constant battle. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times we don't want to go back because we know that if we go back, we're going to go forward. And a lot of times we're our own worst enemies. And we're afraid of being free. I feel like a lot of us, we're afraid of being free. Like, we're afraid of the fact that we can possibly be free from addiction, that we can be free from lust, that we can be free from alcohol, whatever the case. Like, we really have a hard time with believing the fact that we can be free of those things because the entire world is doing it. You know what I mean? But when you really see and trust that what God has for you, you know what I mean? In absence of all those things, when you see like that is the best version of yourself, then you can start to take those steps and be like, you know what, it's time. And a lot of times it takes for us to go through some level of pain. It takes for us to go through some level of trauma for us to be like, you know what, like, I'm tired. You know what I mean? Like, I'm tired. Like, what I got to do, Lord? Like, tell me what I got to do. What I got to do next? Like, whatever I need to do, I'm going to do it because I'm tired. You know what I mean? A lot of times it takes us to get to that point of being tired, of being sick and tired. You know what I mean? But it's just so, it's such a hard process to go through because nobody else is going through. You know, a lot of the people who were typically used to being around, nobody is talking about it. Nobody else is doing. Everybody else is just, you know, seems to be, according to Instagram and Facebook, everybody is just living their life. You know what I mean, and doing it.
I think you went mute a little bit, George. You went mute. I'm gonna let you finish out so I go to Richard, but you just went mute.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry, somebody was trying to call me. But
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it at this. You know.
Okay, because I got more questions to ask later, so hold on to all that thought.
All right, go ahead. I'm gonna let Rich go. Go ahead.
Okay, Richard, you go ahead. You want me to put the question up for a little bit, or?
No, I got them right in front of me.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
So much good information. I just want to say I appreciate you too. See, this is why y'all went there first, because y'all took my answers. No, I'm just playing. All right. So we're going to kick off with the first one. What is mental health? So when I think of mental health, I think of when your psychological connects with your emotional. Like, feeling good. Like, you know, I want to say, you know, the brain is the most powerful organ on the body. And with this, since we're talking about Christ, you know, the head, see nothing move without this head. You know, if our head get cut off, what? We dead.
Yeah.
You know, we're dead. So this is the most powerful tool in our body. But when that psychological meets that emotion, to me, that's mental health. Like, I feel good, I look good, like inside, you know, it's what's going on inside, in other words. Second question, what do we do if the support doesn't help? I think my sister Crystal said it well. Go out and seek professional help. And this is what my film was about. Now, I'm being real, I've never seen a therapist, but I want to. I told a couple of my friends, I said, I need to go probably see just what it's like, because I don't have my own story. You know, y'all got your stories that y'all using it, and I believe that it would help, because sometimes, you know, we think we good, but we may not be. And then sometimes it may not be because I'm going through it. Sometimes it's just made just to be an outlet, just to see, like, okay, like, just to rethink, you know, or think from the other side of the other. Think from the other side of the spectrum, like, oh wow, I didn't think like having a therapy would be this most beneficial. But definitely seek professional help, you know. And Crystal said it best, like, sometimes our family and friends could be there for us, but they may not be helping us. They may not be that help for us. I think, George, you picked on it as well. And it's going to lead into the third question. Can you prevent mental health problems? Well, George, you know, I read your book, brother, and I think you really nailed it on the head when you said the main thing that while we all kind of have some mental health, is trauma. You said it in your book a lot, bro, and I was like, dang, he right. Like, trauma is the well, I think I'm kind of answering 5 at the same time.
Yeah.
But can we prevent it? I don't think it can be prevented, because each and every one of us has our own path. You know, each and every one of us will go through something, because going through that is going to help you become stronger, and it's going to be part of your testimony. Like, you can't have a testimony without a test. Yeah. So I don't believe that it can be prevented. 4, are there cures for mental health problems? Yes. I believe that just, George, you said it best too. Just go out and seek the help. Just go out and express yourself. And we, you know, as we're so that pride we wear in our community, you know, is so heavy. Like, yo, bro, I could be your help, sister. I can help you. Like, let's just really love one another. Like, we so prideful, y'all. Like, dang. And I'll be admit, like, we all carry pride some type of way, form, or fashion, you know. But, you know, like, collectively, like, we think clothes going to heal us. We think, like, drinking going to heal our problems. Like, we think all these things.
Richard, I'm sorry, but when you say we're so prideful, could it be a type of like a slave mentality? Because it's like when you're told that you're this and that, you never have nothing, you never have anything, and then now you at the stage that you have to show it. Do that hide from our mental status because we're so prideful of the things that they told us that we're not able to conquer or to have? So we kind of swallow and keep our mental status to a side. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, material things does bring temporary happiness to people, and I believe that is another mental illness. I know you're gonna probably talk about what types of mental illnesses out.
It's so big.
Yeah, like that can be a type of mental illness. So you're right. Yeah, that the materialistic things do put aside or suppress the mental part that the trauma that we've been through. That's why George said it is only temporarily if you don't really seek that help. You're only gonna feel good for a time, but we want to heal. We want to really eradicate. We want to pull those roots out, in order to be completely healed, to be completely, satisfied with our mental state, That was a good like analysis with the with the materialistic stuff. I'm on number 5.
What caused mental health
problems? Well, I'm gonna elaborate on that again. Trauma for sure. Sometimes I think our own experiences as well. Sometimes we learn from our mistakes. It can be it kind of all falls under trauma, but I want to say another word. I can't think of the word, but I'll use the example. Just you doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. You knew you got into something and you didn't think, oh, I got this, and there it go. It happened, and now you digging out your own hole. In other words,
yeah.
Sometimes we know we shouldn't be doing certain things, but we still do it, and that comes from just our flesh and things like that. But knowing sometimes, like, I ain't supposed to be doing that, and you do it anyhow. And I like to say it's not God giving you sin, but I also think sometimes we fall in our own pits sometimes too. Like,
is it ignorance? Our ignorance getting away?
That's a good word to put it. Our ignorance, absolutely. That's another key thing in our community. We so ignorant at times, like the lack of being blind, like unintentionally. I mean, let me not say intentionally blind to certain things. And I think George said it too. Like we don't see other problems because we so blind about ours.
Yeah.
I'm gonna elaborate more because I know you got other questions, Joe. Because I got something else just popped up in my head. And the last one is 6. Let me pull it back up.
What do we do worry about our mental health?
It goes back to go seeking that help. And I know some people are like, well, I don't even know where to start. Some people feel like I'm so alone. Where do I get it? I think now there's so many resources out here now. So many resources. Like I hear a sister say she went and got a counselor. I hear brothers say he went and found videos on the internet. In other words, there's so much out here that we can choose from. I just think the lack of ignorance too falls in this category. Like you worrying. But you worrying for no reason because there's so much help out there. There's so much help out here. I just think sometimes we need that push. We need that physical push or that emotional push to go seek it. Because once again, our pride could be in our way, even seeking that help.
That's true.
But I believe there's enough resources out here. I just believe we lack the knowledge of or the being lazy to go to find it. They say what's they saying? If you want something, you'll find it. If you want something so bad, you'll find it. Like I just want to use an example. When I did my film, I was so passionate about getting the film done I was just saving money. You know, I put a GoFundMe up, but I was like, you know what? It's going to get done regardless. Well, how bad is it? Well, how bad do you want your mental health back? How bad do you want to feel good about yourself? You're going to go seek it.
Yeah.
You're going to go seek it. But yeah, good answers, y'all. I appreciate you all.
Yes. Okay, guys. Thank you, guys. Now I have a question. Everybody open it, unmute, because anybody can just jab in and throw the answer, or, you know, answer the question or whatever. But right now, when COVID hit, right? When Corona hit, have you guys noticed how high mental health issue has been? To the point that husbands and wives couldn't even get along. Even you guys were reading on certain celebrities when they're talking about divorce. Everybody's getting a divorce. So it tells you right there that we all, like you said, we all have some type of mental health trauma or mental health issues that we need to deal with. And it starts from ourselves. A lot of time, especially in our Black community, we like to put the blame, right, on other people and stuff, like, you know, and issues. But we have to look at ourselves, because when all the issues of the killing, the police brutality, and all this other stuff, the rage, you know, I would say that it affected me. It affected me because, especially when it comes to our Black men, I was terrified for my brothers. I pray. When things was happening, I was checking on them all the time, and I realized that it was a trauma for me, because first of all, being a Black man in this country is not easy. There's already a stigma to society, and it's a shame, because it's like your skin is like a bullet, or you know, and people are fearful of that. But at the same time, I look back that we're killing each other, right? We're killing each other in this community, in the Black community, and that's also trauma. So you're looking at all the issues of the world, and it's affecting each one of us. And there's no way that you can't say that doesn't affect you. And that's part of mental health that we tend not to talk about, but it's there. And anybody can please join in, say, you know, how you feel about it. But when COVID happened and we was on lockdown and we had to quarantine, I feel like sometimes God exposed certain things for a reason. And I see the issue, and I see the problem, and I see that we can resolve it. But how can we resolve it when we keep putting blames on one another instead of coming together and getting the proper healing, the proper help? Black Lives Movement was a movement. However, it was a lot of confusion. It was just, it's like we're fighting for people, but at the same time, when we're killing one another, what are we doing? What are we doing? So please, anybody, please, going in. Like, I just, because when it was around COVID, I feel like mental health had exposed itself. It just exposed itself. Massive shooting, and I'm sorry, go ahead. Please.
I would say, listen, if it's 20, we've been, you know, COVID, you know, quarantine for like almost a year and a half, you know what I mean? Or 2 years, what would have been? A year?
About 2 years.
So if during this entire time, if you haven't been set down yet, if God ain't set you down yet, okay, you ain't never gonna be set down. Like you might as well just look, just get prepared for that stumbling block to be laid before you, all right? Because everybody got set down. Okay, if you still the same as you was a year and a half ago,
yes,
I don't know what you're doing. Like, listen, you might as well just like that's. I don't know what to tell you, because if that ain't sit you down, listen, you might as well just go ahead, pack your bags, and just get ready to head on out of here, because I don't even know why you're here at this point, because you ain't growing. So, but I would listen, like when I realized how like I guess I can say inefficient I was, like when COVID first happened. Like I realized like how lazy I was. I realized how I wasn't really doing nothing. I realized the fact that I was all talk. Like I got set down because I swore I was doing something. I swore I had my nonprofit going. I just got my articles of incorporation. I started my youth program. I did a couple presentations. I'm like, yo, like I'm getting somewhere. Then my youth program got shut down, and that was it. All I was doing was DoorDash, and I'm like, yo, like I couldn't go out no more. Like I wasn't networking no more. You know, when you out networking, that make you feel like you're doing something. You know what I mean? Like you think you out here because you meeting people and stuff. So I wasn't meeting nobody. I'm like, yo, like I'm really not doing nothing. Like, and it really, I had a couple of breakdowns. Like honestly, like I had, and I remember because during that time, I had realized that I was really, I really didn't love myself. Like I realized the fact that I was really looking for so many other things to prove the fact that I like to find some type of self. What's the word I'm looking for?
Self-love.
Say that again.
Self-love.
Yeah, you know what I mean. To feel some type of self-love. You know what I mean. And I realized the fact that I didn't really love myself. You know what I mean? And it was a hard thing to acknowledge. Like, I remember I had a best friend of mine. This may have happened like slightly before COVID, I'm not sure. But she had went on a trip and I like made her upset or something like that. But we always talked. You know what I mean? She was like my best friend. She went away on this trip, or you know, she got mad because of something I said, and we ain't talked the entire time. And I was like, yo, like I really ain't got nobody to talk to, like. And I cried, like I cried, like I'm like, yo, like I really don't love myself, like I really can't stand to be by myself. And I really had to acknowledge that, and it was the hardest thing. And I really, okay, like how did I get to this point? Like why don't I love myself? And I had to really reevaluate and go back and be like, yo, like I've been doing this my whole life. Like I've been looking for attention to other people my whole life. Like wow, like I've been a narcissist my whole life. Like, dang, like you telling me all those things that my exes said about me being selfish, it was true? Like, wow, like it was so hard to acknowledge about myself. But when the minute I started working towards those things, and the minute I sat down and I got me a business coach who helped me reestablish my business, and I wasn't really walking with God at that time. I knew God, but I wasn't really walking with him. You know what I mean? And my business coach helped me reevaluate some things and put God in the front of my business. And I started to have some conversations with God, and I was like, yo, like, this is dope. Like, I love myself. You know, like, I love sitting here by myself. I love spending time with God. You know what I mean? He started giving me ideas and stuff. I started working on my journal. I started working on my book. I did my first community event, and all in the middle of COVID. And I'm like, that's when I started to find love for who I was in my relationship with God. You know what I mean? And so, and in the midst of everything that was going on, it was still like an ongoing process, because I had this fire in me, you know what I mean, to solve every single problem. And I had to humble myself and realize that's not what I'm here for. You know, like God put me on, I have a specific assignment, a specific mission that I'm supposed to be focused on. And I got to stay focused, because otherwise I'm all over the place. And I'm letting these different situations that's going on, such as the George Floyd situation, such as the Walter Wallace situation, really affect my mental health. So I really had to take a step back and be like, yo, everybody not going to be saved. You know what I mean? I had to ignite, because I was the type of person like, God, why can't we save everybody? Like, why can't everybody be saved? Why can't we all make it? And God, like, sorry, son, that's just not how it works. So and I had to accept that, you know what I mean? Like, I can't save everybody. I just can't. And I gotta, you know, do what I can, you know, and to be obedient to what God told me to do. And, you know, it's been a beautiful journey, you know what I mean? It's something I'm still going, and God still exposing me till this day, you know what I mean? But that's the beauty of it, because he chastised those that he loved, you know? But I'm gonna leave it at that. Mm-hmm.
That was good. Can I go next?
Yeah.
want to piggyback off of Mr. George here. COVID was the exact opposite for me. So like I said, I worked in healthcare, so I had to be out every day. And I actually had a conversation with my boss during the time, and I said, everybody is having to fit that they're home, and we are not home, and all we want to do is be home. So I just want people to just look at that from that perspective, okay? Yes, y'all was stuck in the house, but imagine having to be out there every single day. I'm sorry, I'm banging on my computer because I'm reliving the moment. Every single day, staring death right in the face every single day. Imagine that, okay? And then it was either, I realized that either whether you were stuck in the house or whether you were out every day, it still brought out something as far as mental health. You know, the couples who were forced to stay in the house, like you said, there were a lot of domestic violence. It turned horrible. Took that sit down time, like he said, I sat everybody down. First of all, he will tell you when to sit down a little bit. Like he'll put out little things here and there, like you might want to have a seat. You might want to have a seat. I was like, also, nobody got not going to listen. All right, how about all y'all have a seat? How about that? Okay, everybody collectively have a seat. Is either you sat down and you worked on your relationship, you worked on your relationship with your kids, you worked on yourself like George did. And during that time, though I was out every day, I finally found myself and found my purpose in life. Going out every single day, it was pure, I hated it. Hated it. Not even just the going out, it was just the job, period. But if you gotta find the good in everything. And it doesn't seem like it's good at the time, because who saw good in anything at that moment and during that time? Nobody. But now that we're coming out on the other side, we made it, praise God. You know, now that we're coming out on we made it. Now, in hindsight, we could look back and say, you know, Dad, I took that time to work on myself. I took that time to find a new hobby, to spend more time with God. You know how many children now are being homeschooled? And I'm here for it. You know how many great entrepreneurs came out of this situation? Black entrepreneurs. Oh my God. I was already an entrepreneur prior to then, but during that time, I definitely leveled up my own business. You will a good gotta come out of it. It has to come out of it. All we have to do is stop looking. We as humans are so superficial, and we look at things so much on the surface, and we need to stop looking at things just what it was. You know, I remember New Year's Eve 2019 going into 2020. I always have like a quote for the year, you know, and I kept saying, you know, this year is 2020 vision. This 2020 vision, not knowing that vision was going to be something that we really couldn't see. And it wasn't until like March, I was like, oh God, you tripping. You really out here trying to make us see some, okay, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing with that vision. People, and that's because I took the time to work on my spirituality, and I definitely did work on that some more during that time, because I was by myself, though I was out. You know, my mental health, I felt like I was standing in a room full of people, and there would be times that I would be in meetings at work and speak, and it's like, nobody was hearing me. And I'm like, you don't hear me? Y'all not understanding what I'm saying? So I had to I only had to talk to God. Who else was there to talk to? You know, I went to certain people. I went to Larissa's after work all the time. Oh my God. She was one of my people I could talk to, but I had to take that time. I
would find a way. So,
well, yes, indeed. But I said all that to say we just have to look for the good and the bad. And I am grateful that we did come out through this alive. I know so many people who did pass away from this virus. It is terrible, you know, but God don't make no mistakes. He really don't. And I know that's easier said than done, because we and I didn't personally lose anybody. That's easier said than done. But God don't make no mistakes. He really don't. I really feel like that we all went through this for a reason, to come out of this bigger, stronger, and for us to know him. And like George said, if you ain't sat down, if you ain't figured that out during that time, I don't know what y'all was doing.
Richard, how do you feel about?
Right. Y'all can hear me clearly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. The mental health rates definitely would skyrocketed during the COVID-19. Me personally, I was already. What else? I was already. You know, my growth is already in God. You know, I've been. You know, in all honesty, I was like, when it came to work, I was like, yes, I get to work from home. Like, I wanted to work from home, because being in the office is just like, going every day, I was just like, it was just stressful to me. I'm like, I work, no offense to you ladies at all, I'm just saying, but I was the only guy in my department. So I worked with a whole bunch of ladies. So to me, I was just like, sometimes it was like a lot of pressure in the work that I do. It's not easy. It's a lot. So I was just like, oh, I get to work from home, have a fresh breath of air. Boom. It happened. So I was like, okay, God, you answered my prayer in a way. But like you said, that 2020 vision, it wasn't the vision that I saw. I was just like, hold on now. Now I'm here by myself, no kids. I'm not in a relationship just yet. So I'm really here by myself. Like, and then I was just like, oh, like, dang, like, yo, we can't go nowhere. We like feeling like George, like, yo, like, I can't get out and network because I got to get from talking. I'm an outgoing person. I like to meet, connect with a lot of people. So I'm just like, I can't go out. Like, I can't even go just to talk to nobody. Like, I gotta wear a mask. It was just like, wow, that's when it really hit me. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm not home. All my family's back up in New York, because I'm from Buffalo, New York, that is. So I'm just like, oh no, like, okay, God. Now, you know, I could say I'm a strong individual, like, because I've been living there by myself for the longest. But during that time, I was just like, yo, like, this is a different feeling here. Like, it's a different feeling. There were times of me being lonely. There were times I was just like, okay, God, like, enough is enough. All right. But God told me to do your film. So I went and did my film through the whole pandemic last year, y'all. You know, got the folks. I said, this ain't stopping us, you know, because I had a lot of folks that's like, you know what? Well, this is what the world doing. What is God telling you to do? You know, so there was that back and forth.
Sir, you better speak. What is God telling you to do? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna take your lead. And man, people were so excited to be around each other. I remember us being on set, because I did film from July until late August, but we was rehearsing early April on Zoom. So on the other side, it brought creativity. Like, okay, now, you know, Zoom was our best friend, y'all. I'm tired of meetings on Zoom every day. Zoom was our best friend, and it still is our best friend. We were just making ways to make it work. I'm like, people was getting creative. And like my sister said, like, so many people found their purpose. Like, yo, I found some new skill. Like, you know, jobs shut down. So people like, what I'm going to do? They found their purpose. They found their other creativity, their God-given gifts that they didn't know they didn't have, or they thought they didn't have. But it really woke us all up. God said, I got your attention now. So, yeah, my heart goes out to the victims who passed away. It was a hurtful piece. And to me, that was why I really got the vaccine shots. I said, because they're not here to get it. If that vaccine was available, they probably may still be here. But then my other mind says, God didn't make no mistakes. You know, like, we still here, y'all. We still here, right?
Yep.
We here with purpose. Like, I get it now. People, I went to Miami. You know, Miami's about to go. I went for my birthday last week. And I was really enjoying the beach vibes. I really wasn't trying to go for like the club scene. But it made me realize, like, people really was missing the old ways. And then my mom like, yo, like, y'all want to go back to that? Y'all was so fast to go back to this?
Yeah.
Like, really? Like, when did you not get the message? Like, it was so clear to all of us. in other words, I'm just saying, like, we are never the same no more. We can never go back to where we came from in 2019. Like, something got to be different within each and every one of us. And George, I hear what you said. Like, I was that same person. Like, I want everybody to be saved, but it's a sad truth. Like, everybody not going to be saved, and it's starting in our families and everybody else. Like, you know, I'm very big on family, y'all, and that's my biggest prayer. God, save my family, and I want everybody to be saved. But if they don't make their own decision, because, you know, we always got that decision to make, to go forward with it, it's, you know, it's a hurt piece. But yeah, some people just still didn't get it. Like, it was ready to get back in that club, y'all. I'm just like, what? Like, I just can't, though. But it really taught me to wholeheartedly depend on God. And it also taught me we all need each other. We all need each other. Like, right now, this is therapy right now.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, we in therapy. And again, I truly appreciate all y'all transparency and honesty, because I believe this is where it starts. This is where it starts. Like, Larissa actually spoke about her testimony at my film premiere.
I did.
Someone told me to reach out to her. I'm like, all right, because I saw your videos on YouTube. I said, she always talking about mental health. And I said, you want to speak about it? And she was Rich. It'd be my first time. I said, do whatever you feel. Like, you didn't have to be. You could.
I talked to the Lord about it.
You could have been deep.
You were at my house when you talked to him, Rich. I came to your opening. I was there.
Yeah. I was like, just speak it. And then also COVID-19, I've met George. Like, brother, when Larissa told me about this, I said, I got to get George online. Didn't I say that? I talked about you on the last video. I said, it's this brother you got to meet. Like, I'm all about connecting people real good. And here you are, bro. So I appreciate your availability, because I didn't get a lot of knowledge. And I think your book, Survival to Success, please read it. Like, it's a good read. It's a good read, you know. And your magazine too, bro. Your magazine. So, like, we just found our gifts, you know, in the midst of it. But we still got work to do. It's not over yet. We have not arrived. We all still got work to do. And since we are Christ believers, we know God is going to lead us through it all, you know.
And that's what I wanted to. Sorry, Richard. I'm gonna let you continue, but that's exactly what I'm gonna talk about next, because I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm done. That was it.
Okay. I thank God for everything, and we're all children of Christ. You can tell, you know, and God don't make no mistakes. Everything happens for His purpose, not of our own. And I would definitely say that mental health go side to side with the faith that we have. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, Crystal, you know this. Everything you go through in life is in the Word. It is.
If it doesn't correspond with the Word, it ain't it.
It ain't it. Bible, biblical instruction before leaving the earth. Biblical instruction before leaving the earth. If you spell the symbols of Bible, that's exactly what it means.
I like that.
And God played a part in each one of our lives. And mental health is a big issue, because we as Christians, we know that it's either a spirit moving you, and it depends on what type of spirit it is. During the pandemic, I realized, like how George say, like how Crystal say, like how Richard say, God played a major part in each one of our lives. And people need to wake up. People need to believe, because, like you say, George, we want everybody to be saved. But how do we want everybody to be saved when people are still struggling to believe that if God even exists? But if you look at your mental health status and where you're at, you have to believe in God. To me, I have to believe in God. What I went through, I know, you know how they say, but God, that part, but God, he played a major issue, and I was angry. And okay, now see what time is it? See, I was gonna end it, but I must share a little bit of my story. I think it's a must. I was in a deep depression, and I did it. I can't laugh at it, not laughing at it, but I know that I went through something and I came out, and I know that it's nothing but the Lord, that Jesus Christ, the one I follow. I know he's the only, okay? What I went through, I did. I actually committed suicide. I passed out.
You attempted. You didn't succeed.
No, I did.
You tried, but God.
Tried, but I noticed I stopped breathing. Nobody can't tell me that. I did. I stopped breathing. I can't explain it. I stopped breathing, but I had like a outer body experience. You can say that, and I remember the Lord hovering over me, and I remember he was like, "Well, who are you to take your life? It is not your life. Get up. I have work for you to do." This is my first time saying it on my platform. Get up. I have work for you to do. And I know that he breathed. I know that he gave me back his breath, which we call life. I know for a fact he did. But when I got up, I was angry because I felt like, was I dreaming? What is going on? But looking back and having a relationship and building a relationship and going through what I went through, I know nobody can't tell me that there's not no God. Unless you go through something, let me tell you something. There is a God. And he's still doing supernatural healing in this world, believe it or not. So mental health or not, if you believe in God and your faith is in God, trust me, you will come out a conqueror. And I know for a fact that he saved me because I was a changed person. I was no longer the same. And I know you guys hear before, when he said, I change you, and you are a new creation, a rebirth, that's real. Because the gifts that I have now, I know me. I didn't have them, Crystal, you know me. I didn't have them. But I know for a fact that it was him. And through this pandemic, yes, we were scared. We felt alone. But the ones that know God, we came back a conqueror. We came back because our faith was always on him. Danger was on the side. People were down left to right. It's in the word. Besides us. But not even our foot was damaged. And I thank you guys so much because each one of you guys share your relationship little about the Lord. And I thank you guys for it. And mental health do go side to side with the faith that we have in God. And even though scientists can say else, whatever they want to say, we know for a fact that there is purpose. There's counseling. There's brotherhood. George, I salute you for what you're doing. Richard, I salute you for even putting out that film. It was incredible. Crystal, I salute you for just even you doing your makeup stuff and talking to people and healing young women and letting them know that, they're still beautiful and God is still in there. So we're all doing our part. We're all working for the Lord, believe it or not, one way or the other. And even now, us coming together, it's amazing. It's amazing what he can do. So yes, we're sitting here talking about mental health, but do you see how the Lord played a part in each one of our lives? And to bring out this amazing, and I pray that whoever's watching this, I pray that they understand that, listen, it is light underneath that tunnel. There is light. There is healing. There's people here to help you. There's programs. There's things that you can do to get the help, because a lot of people feel like they're they're alone. And I felt like I was alone. Crystal, you talk about you feel like you're alone. George, you said you felt like you was alone. And that's being a human being. He said, no man, we can't be by ourselves. No man should be alone because you'll go crazy. But, you know, when we have a friend in Jesus, the impossible is beyond whatever we can even imagine. But I just want to say, I thank you guys so much. And we are going to have a part 2. In the part 2, we're going to go live. Listen, we're going to go live. I hope y'all ready because people might throw out different questions. But I feel like this is the beginning of something amazing. And I thank you guys so much. Like, you guys share so much good information. You know, this is actually healing for me to hear, you know, you guys' story and, you know, the different help that people can definitely use and benefit from this Zoom. But do anybody have anything else to say before we end it?
I just want to say thank you again. Thank you for all the other speakers, Crystal, George. I know since this is going to be on YouTube, I know people may want to find you or find myself. Y'all want to just
Yes.
Instagram names or Facebook's out there. Crystal, I can follow you. But just put your information out there because this is another outlet for people to find y'all and also connect.
Yes.
So, on IG, my name is I am _Rick _R 2 C's _James. Also, you can find me on Facebook as Rich James, which you see here on the screen. I love to connect. It's more than just, you know, business. Like, we just really want to like be here for each other and support one another. So there you go.
Yeah. Crystal, you want to put yours out there too? I'm putting it on the stage.
George, you put out your book and magazine and everything because I definitely want to buy that. Or you can find me on Instagram. I have a cosmetics line, so it's called the Couture Lab. So it's THEKOUTURELAB_. Facebook, the same on Facebook. My personal Facebook is Crystal MuvaKouture. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, I ain't got to do that. Okay, yeah, there you go. You know how to spell it. And what was the other thing? Was it just Instagram? Oh, I also have a YouTube channel as well. You can see me on Larissa's YouTube. It's called The Kollective. So it's TH and it's Kollective with a K. KOLLECTIVE.
George, you want to put yours?
Awesome. So you guys can find me at Walley-Sephes, SEPHES on IG, at Survival to Success, and at Hurt Hill Grow for the magazine page. And you can check out you know, all the work and stuff that we've done in community events and stuff at survivalsuccess.org. And you can find the magazine there as well. Actually getting ready to publish the June issue sometime, hopefully by the end of this week. We'll see. But hopefully by the end of this week. And then for anybody that's interested in the journal, you can find that on Amazon. Just search, if you just search 50 Questions of Healing, you can find it on there. And if you want the ebook, just email me, contact me at georges@survivalsuccess.org, and you know, I can send you over a copy of the ebook.
Thank you guys so much. You guys, I'm going to put my information on the bottom as well. And thank you guys for watching. And we will definitely do this soon. And the next one we will be doing will be live. Right? Thank you guys.
Bye.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, y'all. Love y'all.